Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story Podcast. This is Gertrude Macha here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And let me start the show today with an acknowledgement to the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is a traditional acknowledgement here in Australia. My thanks to the owners of this land who allow me to exist in Australia and be able to broadcast these amazing stories from women from all over the world. My next guest is a sister from another mother. When I first met her, I felt like I was looking at myself and listening to myself speaking as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Faith Agugu. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I am 56 years old, very close to 57, which I'm very proud of. So my name is Faith, as I said, and I am the founder of Sirens. And Sirens is a movement for women to celebrate the aging process. And being a woman of African descent, I am so blessed to have picked up really positive messages around aging. So my work is as a psychotherapist. And when I started my practice about 4 years ago, I was introduced to a number of women, Australian women who were struggling with the aging process. And, I remember thinking to myself, how strange, why are they freaking out about aging? Like it was foreign to me, and I'd been a model, so I understood that some people were worried about aging because clearly in the fashion and modeling industry, I was used to seeing people afraid of aging. I was used to that. But I kind of thought that was only because of the fashion industry. I didn't realize that this belief was prevalent, in the wider society. So in my psychotherapy practice, women were referred to me who were afraid of aging. And a lot of them were worried about losing their looks, losing their youth, body changing. Some of them were going through transitions around their work. Some of them were come out of a divorce. But all of it was all around the aging. So the women that were coming out of divorce were really worried that, as an aging woman, that nobody would want them, and I heard a lot of narrative around, oh, men only want younger women, or, there's no way I'm going to get another job because only young people are chosen for these roles, or I'm going gray and no one's going to find me attractive. When I walk into a room, I'm invisible. I'm no longer relevant. I was hearing them saying things like this, and it was kind of happening over and over again. And from one woman, she started working with me, and then she recommended another friend. And within a few months, I was working with 8 women, all about attitudes to aging. And over time, I was sharing with them my attitude. So as an African woman, for me, aging is something that I look forward to. I literally have silver plaques because I can't wait to get older. So when I was sharing with them the difference between my attitude and theirs, like I had a mother who blossomed in her 50s. Like my mother studied, she started traveling, she broke up with my father and started new relationships. So the model that I saw was this woman thriving through midlife. And my sisters are quite a bit older than me too. And I saw them thriving too as they got older. So not only did I get the message culturally as an African woman, I had examples with my mother and my sisters that this was a time of life where really the very best could happen. So I had absolutely no fear around it. So relaying this to these women and sharing with them my own experience and my sister's experience, my mother's experience, things started to change and they started to kind of open up and started to look at this time of life instead of something to dread. as actually something, maybe potentially something to look forward to. And I get so excited, when I watch these women transform, because you cannot pay for wisdom, and that lived experience, that we've all had, that kind of helps us all to make our decisions a little bit faster. There's nothing better than pattern recognition. And pattern recognition is that, we've done certain things over and over again. We now know what works and what doesn't work. So we tend to short circuit or shortcut situation and decision making. So when we started to talk about all of the good things and things to look forward to, and for me, things around self-esteem. So for me, I know that I'm so much more confident now than I was in my 20s and 30s. I may have looked, in society's eyes, I may have looked better or hotter, maybe. I just feel better now. I'm so much more confident who I am. I like the way I look. I love the way my body looks. I'm much more comfortable in my body. I certainly have no problem speaking my truth, and I say exactly what I need to say, always be polite, but I don't mince words. All of that I learned through aging, through my years of, learning that, a lot of women have struggled with people pleasing and trying to be everything to everybody. At the end of the day, they usually don't gain anything. And so most of us know that now. So then we can focus on pleasing ourselves. So I started Silver Sirens in 2018 because of these women that absolutely inspired me, So Silver Sirens was born from there. And at the beginning, Silver Sirens was an annual event that we had in Sydney. And then because of COVID, we had the event online and we had speakers from around the world. And then since COVID, the event is now hybrid, which means we have the event in Sydney, Australia, but it's also live streamed the same time online to right across the world. Thanks for joining me, Gertrude.
Your story is just so fascinating, Faith, and you're so right. There's so many of us who cross that big 5-0 line, and we immediately go into fear. We go into self-doubt. It's like, what else has life got to give us? But it's the wisdom we have to tap back into, right? Yes. We've come this far. It's already in us. It's easy for us to make those decisions. Now, a lot of women do struggle. Sometimes you've been married for years, your husband controlled the finances, now you're widowed, you're separated, you're divorced. What advice would you give to somebody in that situation?
Yeah, and look, and there's many women in that situation, and I see quite a lot of them. In some of the Silver Sirens in the past, we actually had a session that focused around finance, and the speakers were all women that worked with women after divorce, and I think the first advice that I would give to younger women is to begin with is to say, always control your own finances. I know that we're talking about older women, but if there's any younger women watching this, I would say, as much as possible, keep control of your own money. Even if you have a joint account, have a separate account that's just for you. Because what we find is, I see in therapy, the women are usually clueless around what the finances is. So what happens through divorce is the husband usually hides money in businesses and different projects, and the women are not even aware of what is actually available. So it's about awareness. I don't think there's any excuse for not knowing about something as important as your money, so take control of that, take responsibility of that. That's what I said. But if you're already in the situation and, you've gone through the settlement and now you're left, and I've got friends in this situation, they're now left with rebuilding their lives because through the settlement, somehow they've come off short and they haven't really gotten what they should have got. So now it's about starting again. And some of the women I see, some of them drop into quite a deep depression and find it really hard to climb out of that. But the ones that I see that do well is they lick their wounds and they get back in and they find the talent that they have. Even if they've spent years and years at home, they've got talent. They've got a lot of talent. They've been running a household. Learning tools that most of us learn when we're running our businesses is not much different from that. So I tell them, you already have skills, and this is how we can repurpose your skills, you know? So,
Yes.
you know, no matter how bad it seems, it's never too late to start again. And especially if they're around 50 or 60. Now, research shows that as women, we reach our creative and our ambitious peak around 65, between 65 and 75, which means we've got so many years to go, you know?
Okay,
So most women, isn't it amazing? I know, I'm so excited about that. I'm 57 in a few weeks. The fact that my peak is around 65 makes me so excited. So I remind them that it's not too late. It's not over. It's not too late. Your best years are literally ahead of you, you know, but you do need to work on your grief and then pick yourself up and get going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I met a woman in a retirement home a few years ago. I was speaking in a retirement village. She was 75. About 3 weeks later, she sent me an email saying, Gertrude, thank you so much for coming to the retirement home. I've checked myself out. She found herself an apartment downtown. She got herself a job and she went back into the workforce. But it's true, you know, society tells you that at a certain age, you've got to retire, you've got to stop living. And it's really up to us as women to accept that or reject it.
Yes, yes. Yes, and I encourage us to reject it.
Exactly. And the more of us who do it, the more other women can believe that it's possible.
Yeah. We have to model it for each other. We have to model it. And that's why I have like a monthly webinar called Thriving Through Midlife, because what I found in my practice is it's fair enough for me to tell my clients, but when they saw other women who were thriving in this age group, that's what inspired them. So every month I choose 3 women from across different sort of sectors, different work background, and we have this conversation. And just for the women to be able to see themselves in those women, they know that they could do it too. And that's what I get every month. If those women can do it, so can I. And that's the best thing we can do, is to model for other women, you know, that this is possible.
That is so true. Now, I know that one of your passion projects is centered around homelessness. Women over the age of 50 globally are homeless right now. One, because of the issues we've just discussed, widowed, separated, divorced. Tell us about your project in Australia and how you got started with that.
Okay, so just to clarify, as part of Silver Sirens, we do focus on a different charity every year. And the last few years, we've focused on Indigenous organizations. This year, though, because one of our guiding principles is that we champion, first we acknowledge that women 50 plus are in the fastest growing demographic for homelessness. We acknowledge that. And then we seek to align ourselves with the organizations that are working to change that. So this year, we've decided to work with an organization that champions women, or helps women around homelessness. So we haven't selected our charity yet. We're actually down to 3 now, because there's a few. We're down to the last 3, because I like to make sure that the values are really aligned with ours, you know. So we're just going backwards and forwards. But the idea about homelessness, it's important to highlight that, because a lot of women feel a lot of shame because they've worked all their lives, and they turn around and go, look, I've looked after my family, I've sacrificed my life so that my husband's career can blossom, and now I'm in this space. A lot of women feel so much shame to even admit it, that they're homeless or they're struggling. I know lots of women have slept in their cars for ages before they'll tell anybody that they needed help, because of the taboo and the stigma, you know. So I'm so excited about highlighting and spotlighting that this year, and really demystify it, and also to let those women know that they're not alone. You know, the women, and it's really interesting, because some of the women that I've spoken to, they're middle-class women, you know, so it's not just women that are low income, they're actually middle-class women, but they've lost everything. And, you know, so it's important for us to talk about it, to support organizations that are working in that area, and to give those women a voice so they know they're not alone.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I think the more we talk about it, the more women will come forward, the more they'll ask for help earlier rather than later.
Yes.
This is happening to so many of us. And I was almost on the brink of that. I lost my home. I lost everything and was literally living in my car until a girlfriend gave me somewhere to stay. So we have to talk about these issues, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
So now looking forwards, let me take you into your future. You're now 100 years old and you're sitting in your rocking chair, reflecting back on this amazing life that you've lived. Your future self got you there. So let's imagine that it's an illusion. Time doesn't exist and you can have a conversation with that woman. What would you say to her based on how you're living your life right now?
What would she say to me? The 100-year-old me.
What would you say to her?
To my 100-year-old self.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I would be, what I would say to my 100-year-old self is that I am so proud of you. I am so proud that you never let those negative thoughts, those self-doubt, those episodes of lack of beliefs stop you or get in your way. I'll say to her, thank you so much that no matter how hard things were, you still got up and did the next thing. And look at what you've done. Look at the life. Look at the legacy you've created for all of these amazing women. Look at how many women behind you that you've lifted up, that you've pulled along with you, whose lives you've transformed because of what you've done. I will say to her, thank you for making me this, for being this person who just never gave up, you know. Thank you for being so stubborn about not taking no for an answer. I know there's been so many times that it's been easy for you to take no, but you never did. And you know, and thank you for always speaking up for the underdog. Thank you for always looking out for the people less fortunate than you and just standing with them and pushing along. And I would say to her, I am so proud of you. And you know, you've not wasted one little bit of your life. And I love that Oprah Winfrey said that at the end of her life, she wanted to feel like, you know, God had squeezed every single bit of life out of her. And that's exactly where I want to be. I want to be like, thank you for living your life so fully that all of the juice has been spent, been wrung out of you.
Oh, I love it. That's one of my most favorite quotes as well. The reason why I ask this question, Faith, is a lot of us don't realize that future us is already in us and that she will guide us to where we're supposed to go, that every single seed that is in you, every single dream, you're born with the ability to do it. So what I normally do is I tune into my future self through meditation. And when I get stuck, I just pray, I meditate, and I ask her, what is my next step? And then sometimes it comes as a clear voice in my head, go left, go right. Or I'll meet somebody the next day who will say something that's connected to the thing I'm trying to sort out. And then I just share with other people what I'm trying to create, and they help me co-create it.
Yeah,
this is a message to all of you women out there. You are born with all of the knowledge, all of the knowings. They're already in you, and you can talk to your future self, and she will guide you there, wherever it is you're supposed to go. 100%. So beautiful way to end our interview. Thank you so much, Faith. It's always such a pleasure and a delight to talk to you and connect with you on so many levels. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. If you are a woman over 50, Silver Sirens is an amazing, amazing platform where you meet like-minded women who are there to uplift, support, and inspire each other. Get hold of Faith. I'm going to put your website at the bottom of the screen, and make sure that you connect with her. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook and LinkedIn. Am I correct?
Correct.
Now, what is your parting thought for today?
I think I said it a little bit earlier on, but I'd love to say it again. You know, it is never too late to start again. You know, this is something that I hear people say all the time. And this can mean in all areas. It's never too late to find love again. It's never too late to start a career again. It's never too late to rediscover yourself again. It's never too late.
I love it. So if you are holding back for whatever reason and you're needing some help, you're needing some support, Faith is here to help you. This is what she does professionally. Don't self-doubt. Don't hold yourself back. Check out of this life having wrung every juice. I love that. Every drop of juice out of you, and live a phenomenal life where you have no regrets. And even if you make a mistake and fail, I always say I would rather have tried and failed than go to my grave with regret that I didn't try.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, thank you, Faith. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.